Hello everyone, welcome to the Bodhi Academy. Today we'll start with Standard 12th Economics PYQ of Chapter 4, that is Producer Equilibrium, Price Determination and Market Structure. Okay. So we'll start with the first question. The first question is explain difference between monopoly and perfect competition. In this lesson, we will learn about different types of market structure, then why there is an increase in supply and decrease in supply. These things we are going to learn, and what happens to the equilibrium prices. Okay, so these are the few things what we are going to discuss in this chapter. So let's start with the first question: difference between monopoly and perfect competition. Okay, so monopoly is a single seller. Okay, so he is only the single seller in the market. But with regards to perfect competition, there are a large number of sellers and large number of buyers. Okay, so here there are large number of sellers are there. Okay, so in perfect competition, there are large number of sellers, and here in monopoly, there is a single seller. Mono is only one. Okay, so here we can say that that is only a single seller, but there are large number, large number of buyers. In perfect competition also we got a large number of buyers and sellers. Okay, so with regards to this monopoly, there is a restrictions here. There is a restriction on the entry of new entry and exit of a firm. So restriction in the entry and exit of the firm. Okay, then here, since he is a monopoly, there are no close substitutes. No close substitute for that particular good. Okay, let's suppose he is selling a thermos. He's selling a thermos, and that particular thermos has got different features, but only he will have that particular product. Okay, because he has created it, he is the producer. Okay, he only know what are the features to be add in that particular product, and he knows how to create that particular inventions to that particular thermos. Okay, so here there is no close substitute for that particular product. Like substitutes, in earlier chapter we have learned that examples of substitute goods we have learned, that is tea and coffee. If the prices of coffee is increasing, then consumer are going to shift it demand for tea. But here in the monopoly case, it such things doesn't happen. Okay, there is no close substitute for that particular product. Then with regards to monopoly here, he is a price maker, and he can differentiate the prices because he is only the single seller in the market. Okay, so if he is going to if there are two customer, one is rich and one is poor, so he is going to differentiate. Okay, rich buyer can pay me more, so he is going to differentiate the prices like this. Okay, so monopoly is a price maker. Anytime he can change the prices of that particular product whenever he want, because here he is only the single seller. Okay, but for single seller there are some restrictions to the if he want to enter into the market, or if he want to set up some other business in some other area, then there is some sort of restrictions to the entry and exit of the particular of that for that monopoly. Okay, so he is a price maker. We were here, and anytime he can change the prices according to his mood. Then with regards to perfect competition, there are, as I said, there are large number of sellers and large number of buyers also. Large number of buyers. Okay, then he here they sell homogeneous product. Okay, different types of, like homogeneous, since there are large number of sellers and buyers. Okay, different types of homogeneous products they sell, but they are basically same, like the quality, shape, taste, everything is same over here. Okay, headroom is different, but here their shape, the features of that particular product is same. Okay, that is homogeneous. Now, since in the market there are large number of sellers and there are large number of buyers, both seller and buyer have a perfect knowledge about the prevailing prices. Okay, so here there is a perfect knowledge with regards to the prices, like they already know. Like, this doesn't happen with regards to monopoly, because monopoly is a price maker. Okay, he can anytime he can change the prices of that particular product, but here in case of perfect competition, there is a perfect knowledge for both buyers and seller. Buyer also knows what will be the price for that particular product. Okay, so now I am, for example, I am going into the market, I'm going to the clothes store. So there will be there are different clothes stores no in the market which are available. So I'll go and I'll ask at one particular shop for the particular cloth, or if I'm going to ask the price for a t-shirt, then at one shop I'm going to get it for like higher prices. But if I go into some other shop, then they might change the prices. Okay, so here the products are basically same, they're everything fashion, then um the feature, everything is same, the quality and everything is same over here, because there are large number of buyers and sellers. Okay, so even buyer has got a perfect knowledge about what the prices of that particular product should be. Then then here there are here we learn about there are restrictions in the entry and exit of the firm, but here there are no restrictions with regards to entry and exit of the firm. Okay, so no restrictions with regards to entry and exit of the firm. So anytime they can enter the market and anytime they can leave, because there are large number of buyers and sellers. Okay, the next is here in monopoly we have learned that he is a price maker, since he is an individual seller, but with regards to perfect competition he is a price taker. But with regards to this case, industry decide the prices of the particular product. Okay, so this is with regards to monopoly and perfect competition. Monopoly example, we can take Indian Railways, because here for Indian Railways there are no close substitutes. Okay, no one can, no other no one can change this Indian Railways, because everything is dependent on this. So there are no close substitute for the railways in India. Okay, because it carries a bulk goods carrier. And this is like the cheapest way, no? So there are no close substitute for Indian Railways. This is the example. Okay, so we'll move to the next question, that is explain the two features of oligopoly. Okay, so oligopoly is a market situation where there are few sellers, but there are large number of buyers who are willing to buy that particular product. Okay, for example, we can take the example of cars. Example can be BMW, Mercedes, and all those things. Then now electric cars also we can take electric cars. Then airlines. Then very important example is oil and petroleum countries. Okay, so with regards to oil and petroleum, there are few sellers in the market, but for this there are large demand, no, from the buyers. So this is the situation of oligopoly, and here the question is features of oligopoly. Okay, so features, as I said, there are few firms in the market. Okay, we'll take the example of oil and petroleum. Exporting countries are very few, but the demand is more for this. Okay, so few sellers, then large number of buyers. Then next, there are entry barriers to this. few firms, entry barriers. Let's suppose now they want to establish in some this few firm, few sellers are there in oligopoly, and now they want to establish their branch in some another country. Okay, so there will be some entry barriers to them. Okay, they have to go through lot of documentation, rules and regulation, and all those things. Okay, then next is high degree of interdependence. High degree of, they are interdependent to each other. Okay, so these are some features of oligopoly. So here in this case we learn different examples of oligopoly, especially oil and petroleum exporting countries. Then features are few sellers in the market, but there are large number of buyers. Demand for the particular product is more. Entry barriers are there for them, and they are dependent on each other. Okay, next is explain the features of perfect competition. So, as I said, in perfect competition, so large number of buyers and sellers. There are no restrictions for them. He is a price taker, because here from industries decide the price of the particular product, and then perfect knowledge for the buyers. Okay, buyers and sellers. And also they sell homogeneous product, as we saw earlier. So these are the features. Here in perfect competition we have learned that he is a price taker. Okay, here the industry decide with regards to the prices of the particular commodity. Then there are no restrictions. Anytime they can enter into the market, and anytime they can leave, exit the market. Large number of buyers and sellers, and all these buyers and sellers have got the perfect knowledge about the prevailing and the existing prices of the particular commodity. Okay, so this is with regards to the perfect competition. Then explain changes in equilibrium price with the help of neat label diagram. Okay, so here we are going to check what happens to the equilibrium when supply increases and demand remain constant. Now this situation we'll be learning about. Supply increases, so there is increase in supply and demand is remaining constant here. Okay, so increase in supply and demand remains constant. Okay, so what happens when the supply increases in the market and demand curve is constant on the equilibrium price? So if the demand remain unchanged, then change in supply leads to change in equilibrium price. So when the demand is same, demand is constant, change, so now there is a change in supply. You can see there is increase in supply over here, so this is going to change in equilibrium prices. So here prices are going to uh, affect it. Okay, so when the prices are going to affect, there is a increase in supply and there is a rightward shift in supply. So this word is very important. There is a rightward shift of supply. Okay, so I'll explain this with the help of a diagram. Here I'll be taking quantity, demand and supply. Okay, x-axis, y-axis, and here I'll be taking price on y-axis. Okay, so now I'm showing O to P is my price. Okay, this is my prices, and O to D is quantity demanded and supplied. So now what is the situation here is demand is constant. So demand curve slopes from left to right, and demand is a downward sloping curve, right? So dd is the demand curve, and now demand is remaining constant over here, and ss is the supply curve. So here this one is ss, this is the original supply curve. Okay, so original supply curve. Now if you see, there is an interaction between demand and the supply curve. Okay, original demand and supply curve. So this intersection meets at point E. So E here, this point E where the demand and supply curve are meeting, intersecting each other, is called as E, and E stands for equilibrium price. Okay, now here, now since the demand is remaining constant, there is increase in supply. And what was the thing when there is an increase in supply? There is a rightward shift of supply. How we are going to show this rightward shift? So my supply curve is going to shift to the right hand side. So I'll show it in this way, because there is a rightward shift of supply, and now I'm getting a new supply curve, and here new supply curve I'm denoting it as S1 S1. Okay, and if you see, this new supply curve is again intersecting my demand. Okay, so it is intersecting over here. So now I got new equilibrium price, so I'm denoting this as E1. Okay, so this is what there is an increase in supply, and since there is an increase in supply, there is a fall in prices. So if you see, my prices are getting falling down over here. So I am going to show it in this way. My prices are falling down from OP to OP1. Okay, here, and I'm going to show this arrow over here since the prices are falling down. Okay, now this is with regards to price. What is happening to my quantity supplied and demand? Quantity supplied, yes, obviously it is increasing and there is a rightward shift. Okay, now with regards to this quantity demand, it is increasing. If you see, my arrow is shifting from OD to OD1. Okay, so this is what is increasing supply and demand remain when demand remain constant. Okay, so here we learned that if the demand remain unchanged, change in supply leads to change in equilibrium prices. So here my prices are getting affected over here, and since there is an increase in supply, there is a rightward shift, and we can see that there is a rightward shift of this S1. S1 is my new supply curve, and I'm getting more quantity demanded from OD to OD1 here. So on x-axis I've taken quantity demand and supply, and on y-axis it's my price, and I'm showing it that prices are falling from OP to OP1. Okay, so this is with regards to the first question, increase in supply when demand remain constant. Okay. Yes, I think that the next is like opposite to this diagram. So this diagram also दाखवली. Later on, okay. दिसताय आणि
दिसतात जस्ट ते लाईन वापरच्या पहिले दुसरे ते एक्सप्लेन कर बाय त्याच्या साइड मध्ये वो ऑपोजिट
yeah, Ram. Okay, so now we'll move to the second explanation of this, that is what happens when supply decreases and demand remain constant. So for the first part, we saw that what happens when there is increase in supply and demand remain constant. Okay, now we'll look after this question, supply decreases. So what happens when supply decreases and demand remain constant? Okay, so when supply decreases, it's just the opposite of this diagram. Okay, increase in supply. So here we will start. Okay, supply decreases and demand is remaining constant or unchanged. So it's the same. If the demand is remaining unchanged, there is a change in supply leads to change in equilibrium price. So here, since supply is getting decreased, there is a backward shift. Okay, so here I'll show over here with regards to supply decreases with the help of a diagram. Okay, so on x-axis I'm taking quantity, demand and supply. Here I'm taking O and this side is my prices. O, O to D is quantity, demand and supply, and O to P is my prices. Okay. Now DD is the demand curve, okay, and SS is the supply curve. Okay, now both the things are intersecting at point E, which is the equilibrium price. Since there is a supply is decreasing, okay, in the market, there is the prices are increasing, okay, and there is a backward shift. Okay, here we have learned that there was a rightward shift, so now there is a backward shift. So since the supply is decreasing, my supply curve is going to shift to this side, okay, left hand side. Okay, so I am showing it over here as a new supply curve is getting formed, which is S1, 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 S1. Okay, so my original supply curve was SS, and now my new supply curve is S1, S1. Okay, now if you see here, my new supply curve is intersecting on demand curve. Okay, so I'm giving the name as E1. Okay, that which is new equilibrium prices are getting formed. Since the new equilibrium prices are getting formed, if you see there is change in prices. Okay, so my prices are going it is rising up from OP to OP1. So I am denoting P1 over here and I'm marking the situation. Okay, so this is my P1, and if you see my arrow is going down, sorry, my arrow is going up because there is a increase in prices. Okay, here there is increase in prices from OP to OP1 because here supply is decreasing in the market and prices are rising up in the market. Okay, this is the situation. But what is happening to my quantity, demand and supply? My quantity, since the prices are rising up, my quantity, demand and supply is again it is decreasing. Okay, so my demand and supply is inward. Okay, and I'm denoting this as D1. Here I'm getting new quantity, demand and supply. Okay, so this is what happens when demand is constant. So here we shown the demand DD is constant over here, but there is a shift in supply curve. Okay, because there are the prices are rising. So but in this case what has happened is there was increase in supply and this was a situation, there was a rightward shift of supply. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the MCQ questions now. So the first MCQ is oil and petroleum exporting countries is an example of. So earlier we have seen uh, these examples of oil and petroleum countries. So here options are given. First is monopoly, second duopoly, third is monopolistic competition, and fourth one is oligopoly. So here the correct option is fourth one, that is oligopoly, because in oligopoly we have learned that there are few sellers and large number of buyers. Okay, so oil and petroleum is the best example of oligopoly. Okay. Then next, MCQ 7, that is under a monopoly form of market structure, the seller is, so under monopoly we have learned that the seller is a price maker. Okay, so here the options are given. First option is he a price taker, is he a price maker, price reviewer, or price controller? So the correct option is second, price maker, because he do the discrimination of prices, okay, among and he see how the prices, how he can determine the prices for different buyers. Okay, so correct option is price maker. With regards to price taker, we have already learned that price taker is, we have learned in perfect competition, because here the industry decides upon the prices of the particular commodity. Next MCQ is the Indian Railways is an example of monopoly in India due to the existence of, first one is pricing policy, second advertising policy, third option is selling cost, fourth barriers to entry. So the correct option here is barriers to entry, because no other close substitute is not there for Indian Railways, okay, in India. So yes, it is a monopoly in India, Indian Railways, and this is the best example of it. So yes, there is a existence of barriers to entry for them. Explain oligopoly. Oligopoly is nothing but here there are very few sellers in the market, and examples cars, okay, then oil and petroleum exporting countries. So these are few examples of oligopoly. Then next is MCQ question. The functional relation between physical input and physical output is known as, so it is known as production function. Okay. Thank you for watching the video.